What is up, guys? Hello and welcome back to the Geometrist plays Enter the Gungeon. So, I'm trying a new setup. My mic is further from my face because people gave me feedback about being able to hear my breathing. This is pretty much all I can do to fix it for the time being, however, on account of the fact that I just don't have a very good mic yet. That should be fixed here in the coming months, but there's not really very much that I can do right now. I'm gonna take the Convict for a spin because, I was looking at the content, I realized we haven't played as the Convict, and that's a little weird. I've rotated through a bunch of the characters, and this just isn't one that we've tried out yet. And we are kind of living in the lap of luxury right now. Hot off the heels of that boss rush finish last time, we can pretty much just do whatever. Because, the only objectives that I have left are getting that super hot watch, acing Winchester's game a bunch, and then I think a bunch of achievements that don't have unlockables associated with them. Which is to say that, more or less, I just need to keep playing the game because everything else is based on just normal occurrences from inside of the Gungeon rather than on me trying to tailor a specific run to get something done. Now that said, I will be attempting to take flying anytime that I see a source of it, but on account of being able to basically cheat at Winchester's game whenever you can fly, because you can just fly out to directly in front of the targets and shoot them. But, I mean, by the same token, I'm going to be taking flying anytime that I see it anyway, because flying is just freaking amazing. Immunity to all status effects, you never have to worry about falling into a pit. It's so nice to have. But yeah, we're able to just play, and that's honestly refreshing. After having several runs where I was trying to do the elevator man's missions and make sure that everything turned out right for that, it's really nice to just be able to kick back, talk into the microphone, and play a game of Enter the Gungeon. I'm also kind of reappraising my view on the Convict in general. I'm starting to think that probably the pilot is my least favorite character for just general purpose play. Now, that's not true if we're talking about, trying to do tailored runs where I need to be not opening chests. Obviously, the pilot is the best for those. But, the Convict definitely has what I would classify as the second worst starting weapon. The pilot's is the worst. And, in general, if you don't particularly need to save keys, I'd argue that the Molotov can actually be considered more useful than the lockpicks. The fact of the matter is, I don't find myself in that many situations where I'm at a shortage of keys. Now, granted, it does make it a lot easier to go to the oubliette if that's a thing that you decide that you want to do on a run. Yeah, thanks for the ammo, Ratman. You can have that one, buddy. But while it makes it easier to go to the oubliette, I don't have anything to gain from doing that now, other than maybe just, like, progress on Rifle and the Grey Mauser if they ask me to hunt something that spawns there. So, why would I? These runs are already long enough without me tacking on extra levels to them. Though the actual difference I've noticed in runs where I go to the oubliette and runs where I don't isn't terribly significant. And I think that's just on account of, you do get some tangible benefit from going to the oubliette. You do set yourself up better, and that makes subsequent floors go faster, assuming that you actually get worthwhile things in the oubliette. Whoa. Alright. I mean, if I get more money, I'll definitely come back and procure more keys. That many keys on the first floor is a super nice setup for the rest of the game. And like I was just saying, I don't really plan on going to the oubliette, so I might as well just get those keys and keep them for general use. out in the rest of the Gungeon, you know. Have basically free chests. And Heart Locket, or Heart Purse, really good passive for this first floor, you know. I'm never going to complain about picking up straight HP when I wasn't even fighting a boss. The blunderbuss actually took care of that rather nicely. So I'm going to go and grab this key down here. And, I completely forgot about the sawed-off shotgun. I should have been using that. But I think I'm going to try and use the MAC-10 against whatever our boss is. And hopefully it won't be the Bullet King. It's the Bullet King. So that means that the Molotov is worthless. And that's okay. We'll just go ahead and get what little use is possible out of it by killing his assistant, or whatever that guy's official title is. So I went ahead and blanked that attack because I freaking hate it. I do not know how to dodge that. At least not when I'm that close. You know, in general, my strategy for dodging things is stay away from the bullets, give yourself enough room to react. And since I don't know the pattern on that attack and I was pretty close to him, I decided to just get rid of it. That's really unfortunate, getting hit on the first boss. I mean, I guess the Heart Purse kind of makes up for the not getting a flawless here, but that does immediately shatter any dreams of getting Let God. I'll go ahead and, well, okay, so I'm going to buy another key. I think the sawed-off is trash, so I'm going to go ahead and sell it, and that'll let me buy a third key. With that, we're going to come back here. I'm not going to piddle around shooting all the walls just on account of these runs are so long. I apologize if that's a sticking point for you and you'd like for people to be extremely thorough. But these videos are long enough and my watch time is not high enough. So I'm just gonna cut my losses as far as that goes. Yeah, so bouncy bullets I think is a pretty big get out of the first floor. It's, in my opinion, one of the better passives. It lets you get value out of more or less any shot. You know, you miss it, it's probably still going to bounce back and hit something. We'll just put that down there and let this sort itself out. Yeah, because I got to remember to use what I have at my disposal. Anything that I don't adequately use is just being wasted, and that means that I'm doing worse than I could be doing. But anyway, since there's not a lot going on, now's probably a good time to talk about a really interesting day I had in the interim between the last recording session and this one. So, I'm playing Destiny with one of my friends, and you may eventually see he and I collaborate on this channel. He is trying to set up a YouTube channel of his own under the name Nate American. He's a Native American. His name isn't Nate. But anywho, we're playing some Destiny kind of early in the day, and he hits me up and he says, hey, like, I really want some A&W cheese curds and root beer. You want to go to A&W with me? And so, you know, I say, of course, sure, you know, we'll go to A&W, we'll get some food, it'll be cool. Well, it turns out the closest A&W is like 40 minutes drive time away from where we live. But not to be deterred, we decided to go for it. So, you know, I drive over to his place, we both get in his car, and we begin the trek to A&W. Now, you know, we're listening to the radio, and it starts to get surreal because we hear some, like, really good funk gospel music. And, you know, I'm generally of the opinion that, you know, gospel music that you hear on the radio, like Christian rock kind of stuff, is bad. And that, you know, in my opinion, has nothing to do with the subject matter and everything to do with they just tend to not be as good of musicians as people who make other songs. But, so, you know, and we've kind of been making fun of that. We get to the A&W, you know, we get our food, it's fine, and he decides that he wants to get cheese curds for the road. So, you know, he asks, like, basically if he can get, because it's a combination A&W Long John Silver's. That's kind of important. So he asks if he can get, like, the Long John Silver's large Hush Puppy box, but full of cheese curds. And while they tell him no, they do give him a boxes of cheese curds that are bigger than the normal box of cheese curds. And they do this for like $5.50 a pop or something like that. Now this isn't on the menu, but when I try to get root beer for the road by the gallon, which is, mind you, on the menu, it says that you can buy it by the gallon. I'm not just a crazy person who asked for gallons of root beer from an A&W. Right, but they say, we've never heard of that. You can't buy that. So, you know, that was a little weird. Naturally, you know, we put on Long John Silver's little, like, you know, for kids, like, cardboard hats. We take a picture, like a selfie, with the root beer mascot, send that to one of our friends, and we begin the trek back. And that was, I cannot believe that I didn't take damage there, man, like, holy crap. Anywho, on the trek back, we actually see one of the weirdest sights I've ever seen, which was just like, and it's not weird from the, like, you know, from the standpoint of something being objectively, you know, strange or out of the ordinary, but just that it's something that I didn't think of, that you don't see every day. And it's just a, like an 18-wheeler. And all of its cargo is cages full of live chickens. And I mean, you know, thinking about it, it makes sense. They have to transport chickens somehow, right? Like, to get live chickens from one place to another. I just had never seen it before. Had never seen anyone transporting live chickens. And let me tell you, we had the top down on this car. That smelled so awful. Like, that has to have been one of the worst olfactory experiences of my life. Just being behind the giant chicken truck. But, you know, and man, this thing's like tearing it up down the road at some points. We had passed it and had been out of sight of it for a while. And then, you know, like, maybe 10 minutes later in our trip, wouldn't you know, here comes screaming down the road the chicken truck, which put us behind it and smelling it again. Which was rather unpleasant. But, so, you know, we get past that, we get back to his place, and we say, alright, so, you know, we're just gonna hang out for a little bit. We're gonna eat some of these cheese curds that we got for the road. And, we're looking for something to watch on Netflix. And we wind up settling in on, The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross. And, you know, I had never seen this before. You know, in my 20s, you know, the show was before my time. But it was quite possibly the most relaxing show that I have ever seen. I mean, just, you know, watching that man paint and listening to that soothing voice, whew, that absolutely just melts away your troubles. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. I was so happy with that. I do not care for iBomb Companion app, so I'm just gonna leave that and move on to our boss fight, because we're clear on this floor. Hopefully I can flawless this and not make a complete fool of myself. That appears to do nothing against the ammo conda, which is rather unfortunate. Oh, nope, there it is. Okay, I guess it does do something to the ammo conda, just for some reason didn't immediately. So I know the Trident has some defensive applications, but it's really hard to do. The time in which it kills bullets is not that great. and we've already taken damage, which makes me a little bit salty. I probably should have just used a blank there. It doesn't bode well for the long-term prospects of this run that I have yet to flawless a boss. And honestly, it's kind of embarrassing to not have flawless a boss at this point. We're just going to pop in here. We're going to pop a blank. Nothing. And I guess we'll go on down. I think the pitch... You know what? No, we won't go on down. We're going to go over to here. We're going to use the gun muncher to recycle the blunderbuss and the pitchfork and see what we get. But the thing that I realized when we were sitting there watching, you know, The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross, that show, that was YouTube. That was YouTube before YouTube was a thing. And, you know, that probably sounds a little ridiculous, but, you know, think about it. So, first of all, the format of the show. You're sitting there and you're watching Bob Ross talk to himself while he paints a picture. He paints the picture in one go, single take, 30 minutes, so it's just like this sort of, you know, unedited commentary style. He gets sidetracked and talks about his pet squirrels during parts where there's not a whole lot of action. You know, that's the same as like when a part of the game gets boring, you just tell a story from your life when there's not much going on. It's really just uncanny, you know, and whenever he makes mistakes, he tries to cover it up. He'll, you know, of course there are no mistakes in Bob Ross's mind, and the man just has such a beautiful voice that he can sell you on that, but, well, had, sadly, but anyway, and then, you know, at the end of the show, he gives you the, like, drop us a line right into the studio. Let us know how you're liking the show. Send us pictures of what you've been painting if you have the time. You know, let us know what you've been up to. And that, I realized when I thought about it more, that's just like, comment, and subscribe in the era prior to social media. That was the TV version of like, comment, and subscribe. And so what I realized is Bob Ross, basically, is a YouTuber. Just, you know, in the era before YouTube. And that, of course, also got me to thinking about, you know, like, why don't we see that anymore? I mean, I know that there are some, like, speed painting channels and such on YouTube, but why do we never see any, like, alternate forms of this commentary style video where someone just, like, you know, creates something or does something and talks about it while they're doing it? You know, or even with painting, just like that. Why don't we see everyone, or not everyone, but anyone in that format where they're just, you know, painting a picture in like 30 minutes to an hour and talking into a camera, like just talking to themselves the same way that Let's Players and such do. And I'm sure that there are, you know, examples of that I don't know about, but at the same time, it's so much more prevalent in Let's Plays and the like. And really just, you would expect that that would be a thing rather than like vlogs and the like. And I mean, I guess there are channels, you know, the harder I think about it, the more I start to think that that format is still alive and well outside of gaming. But, you know, it's just kind of mind-boggling to see that that is not something that was developed alongside the age of YouTube. Oh yeah, I'll keep this charm horn and see what's up with it. And I'll immediately discard it for the potion of gun friendship, because that's better. But yeah, it's just interesting to me to see that that style is not new. That wasn't developed in recent in terms of, you know, internet time, not in terms of like the scale of human history, obviously. But it's just interesting to see that that's something that persisted over a longer period of time, rather than something that something that was developed when the sort of internet media came out. So, anyway, you know, I've gone on quite the tangent here. We can take a second to appraise the run at this point. We're out of MAC-10 ammo. I'm using the bow for my room-to-room, which I think is a pretty solid statement regarding the quality of items that we've gotten so far. Now, don't get me wrong, Potion of Gun Friendship is an amazing active item, but in general, I think our guns just aren't that good. It's kind of unfortunate that I wasn't able to get that sniper with any of the bounces, because since the bow pierces, bouncing bullets has a lot more effectiveness with this weapon. On account of, you know, now you can hit an enemy and then it misses the next enemy, but bounces off a wall and still hits an enemy. So I'll purchase a key, and then I will take my leave. There's been 2 locked shops on this floor alone, and that's a little bit frustrating. Rolled directly away from that. I don't know what's wrong with me in this gameplay right now. I mean, you've seen me do well at this game if you've watched previous videos, but I am just having not the greatest run. And, I mean, there is some chance that that is partially a result of the commentary being not terribly focused on the game. You know, when I'm rambling, my mind isn't entirely focused on what's going on screen so much, which I would imagine probably does have impact on how well I'm able to play the game. But, you know, at the same time, I want this to be a channel where I can tell some interesting stories and just talk about, you know, stuff that's not the game. I don't want this to be a channel where I just, you know, tell you what's going on screen over and over. Yes, I will alter a blood sacrifice and take some curse to get that passive power up. And so you saw right there the kind of utility I was talking about with the bow and its piercing. It actually killed one enemy, pierced through them, hit the second enemy, pierced through them, bounced back, and hit the second enemy again for the kill. Which I'm fairly impressed happened. Looks like this isn't a mimic, and that will be our boss killer for sure. Beehive, you know, just real powerful homing abilities. Since we're fighting a pretty potent enemy, you know, it's nice to not have to always be directly on top of that enemy. We'll just go ahead and use the blank there. Roll through that, even though it was a terrible dodge and I probably deserved to get hit. And just keep outputting bees, and I looked like slightly away from the screen for like half a second, and just there it went, got hit. Now, I mean, the Convict does have that ability that makes you do more damage after getting hit, so it's not entirely negative, but I have yet to flawless so much as a single boss. And that's, honestly, it's embarrassing. I am doing really poorly in boss fights on this run. Let me make a judgment. Nah, it won't be in that room. So I'm gonna try this item room. No. Okay. So we can just move on then. I mean, I've been doing, I think, relatively well on like a room-to-room basis. I've just been, like, on average, botching it and getting hit once, like, every boss. And it's slowly putting me in a worse and worse position. Because, you know, by the end of the game, you need to be resistant to getting whittled down, not, you know, because the game just gets to a point where it's almost impossible to not get hit on every room, and some of the late game bosses can just hit you so many times. So, I am not in a good spot as far as my setup for this to potentially be like a run that goes to bullet hell. And, yeah. That's somewhat disconcerting. You know, I'm still using the bow for my room-to-room. I think that's, not a good thing at this point. You would expect by the 4th floor to have a better room clearer than this, I think. I don't even think the Potion of Gun Friendship doesn't even really benefit this that much, because, you know, the charge time seems to not be appreciably different. And, you know, I mean, you maybe knock a tiny bit of time out with getting rid of that reload. I will take Mac 10 ammo and use that on room to room, and I may also try using the Moon Scraper over the bow. I almost ambled into that triangle shot. Looks like we have a jammed enemy. Ah, he was hiding behind death. I see. Yeah, this is a bad situation. This jammed enemy needs to die. Okay. Ah, he exploded into bullets. Oh, that's the worst. Yeah, I'm not feeling too hot on this run. And, you know, part of my problem with the Convict just in general is the only passive, you know, that you have really is something that only helps you out when you're doing poorly. Like, you have to get hit for the Convict passive to do anything for you. And that is somewhat counter to the way that I think about the game. I sort of see it as I want to stack up items that let me sort of go out of control and not get hit. You know, that's the ideal situation, is that your items are all helping you all the time, so that getting hit is just not something that you even consider worrying about. And that means basically that that item is only helping you if your run is bad. But what that means is that if your run ever gets good, you lose that benefit. And I'm not terribly keen on that idea. And don't get me wrong, bouncy bullets is fantastic, but I don't have the best synergies with it. And also, this is kind of a cash money poor run, because you know, I'm kind of starting to run out of that boon of keys that I got on the 1st floor, to the point where now I don't have enough money to buy new keys. And I mean, granted, we're kind of towards the end of the game a little bit, so, you know, maybe it's not that big of a deal, but since there are only gonna be like 4 more chests for the whole game. But you know, I think that even like when we've gotten high quality chests, the items in them have been pretty lackluster. I did just accidentally empty a whole bunch of shots into a wall there for no real reason. Bouncy Bullets has quite the entertaining interaction with Moonscraper here, just making it keep rattling around for so long and go so far. I'm actually kind of pleased with that, even if it's not terribly good, just on account of it being entertaining to watch. You know, that's the kind of thing that gets you the title of the video there. Like, oh god, okay, yeah, if you're... This is the moment where I'm gonna say, like, if you're photosensitive, maybe this isn't the video for you. Because, like, some of those Moonscraper shots, when they start bouncing around, like, that can cause some serious, like, strobe light syndrome. So yeah, if you're photosensitive, treat this episode from here on as audio only, because we wouldn't want anything bad to happen to a viewer. And just, wow, this is really chaotic. I mean, on the upside, I can kind of like, I can hit a lot of enemies at once. on account of this, so that's nice. I'd wager that that X'd outdoor is probably where the next chest is. Fortunately, we did get key pickups on this floor that shored up the problem that I was talking about of not having enough keys. So, you know, we don't need money to buy keys if they just drop for us. Okay, looks like it's just a normal green chest. And the shock rifle's pretty good. I'm actually going to have to take a second here to consider what weapon I would want to use on the boss. I think I'm going to lead Beehive and switch to Trident. Hopefully that'll work. Unfortunately, the Wallmonger seems to more or less completely stop shots that hit him, which means that these aren't... okay, I probably didn't need to use that blank, but I got in a little bit too tight of a spot and got nervous and just cut my losses and went ahead and did it. Because, you know, I mean, at this point, it would be nice to at least flawless this one boss. And I just went ahead and popped Potion of Gun Friendship to try and that blank to just try and hammer out the shots. And that is a strategy that has paid off. And in fact, we managed to acquire 2 hearts there on account of getting that liquid heart bottle. So that brings us back up to 5 HP. We can't find a secret room. I'm going to go ahead and buy a key here on account of, you know, I mean, they only get more expensive. And you'll probably, you know, I mean, I don't want to count on there being a drop on the next floor. And since they only get more expensive, I might as well just go ahead and have 2 in my inventory, and then, you know, if there's like a locked door or something, I'll be extremely vindicated for this. So I'm gonna switch to shock rifle for my room to room, I guess, here. I don't know, man, like, it doesn't seem strong. People tell me that it's strong, but I don't know. Now, with bouncy bullets, you know, and missed shots actually still being able to hit enemies, that does very much, I think, improve it, but that improves every gun, so, you know, saying that doesn't mean a whole lot. But yeah, like, I mean, that takes the same number of hits to get one of those grenades taken care of as, like, the starting pistols did on the first floor. I guess that probably isn't true now on account of the HP scaling of enemies. Let's just bank those shots in and not take any risks, even though that was a normal bullet kin and probably couldn't have hurt me. Trying to focus in on that jammed enemy and get him taken care of, and that was not cool. I got shot from off screen. I'm going to go ahead and pop Potion of Gun Friendship and clear out this room. That's something that I need to pay more attention to. If I have an active item, I don't need to just save it for use on bosses. Potion of Gun Friendship is always good. It is good on every room for every purpose. You know, it's not like it gets used up and goes away. It's going to come back, so I shouldn't worry about... that was real bad. I just got rushed down and didn't react fast enough. What do I want? I think I want Trident ammo. And I'm gonna switch back to the Moonscraper, because that, at least with bouncy bullets, was doing a lot of work and letting me hit more than one enemy at a time and hit enemies indirectly and things like that. In general, I think this is the defensive choice. And at this point, that probably also means it's the best choice. Also, oh, come on. That really hit me when I killed him before he could shoot. That's frustrating. Let's go ahead and just empty the MAC-10 so that it stops looking like it has ammunition when it really, realistically does not. So it's kind of a shame that I'm out of armor. Like, any damage that I take is real damage now, so to speak. Because, you know, I'm getting hit in parts, and just fine. You know, I'll stand there and take it, apparently. I kind of want to save the trident for when I'm fighting the dragon, because I don't want to count on getting a better gun drop than that. But at the same time, it might be worth it to make it so that the bow isn't the only gun that I'm able to use on just like my room-to-room basis. Okay, sure. I think I'm tilting. I really do. I think that I've let the damage that I've taken get to me. I need to calm down, focus up. I guess, I mean, I'll take armor, and if I actually do beat the dragon, another armor, that's fine. I wouldn't call it ideal. Okay, so that's what this room's gimmick is. I was, I think, pretty understandably confused at the outset there. At least I was able to rattle that arrow around and hit that guy twice. Yep, okay. That was a pretty solid shot. At least I killed those guys in one. Just keep my distance. Shoot arrows whenever I can. I'm almost out of ammo for the bow, which means I can guilt-free stop using it. The jolter also means I can guilt-free stop using it, because, I mean, I'll still empty it out just for the sake of, you know, not having to even think about using it on future rooms. And yeah, we'll switch to Jolter for room to room, since the Trident does have some passive defensive, or not passive, just defensive utility. You know, sometimes maybe blocking a shot with the Trident is what's going to make the difference. We still haven't found the forge, which is a little weird. Go ahead and block that with the table, and that'll have him sorted. I imagine that this Jolter could actually output quite a bit of ammo with Potion of Gun Friendship, but it's also holding it down pretty well as it stands. Where's the shop? So I guess it's... hopefully it's on this side, which will mean that I don't have to explore the whole floor. Yeah, let's just go ahead and rattle out as many shots as the game will let me in this room, so that I no longer have to worry about that Skelly Man, you know, putting it into my life early. Because those guys, I mean, I don't think they're necessarily that hard, but I'm prone to making mistakes when I'm fighting them. So, I am absolutely going to go down here. I'm going to do one more room, and then I'm going to buy ghost bullets. And then we're going to go fight the dragon with whatever I happen to have left. Honestly, yeah, we'll just, since this room's remaining enemies aren't that hard, I'll just clear it with the starting pistol. Yep, I'm comfortable with the starting pistol against this too. Just to save whatever ammo I can, because that dragon fight is shaping up to be a real doozy. What gun are you? I'd rather make the ammo that I still have better than spend money like that. And I guess I might as well just grab this here half heart what's on the map, and that will let me go into the dragon fight with as much HP as possible. We'll just walk up here, open this door, and here goes nothing. Yeah, so having ghost bullets is making these trident shots hit him like 3-4 times each. So that's pretty nice. We'll just speed up that reload time, output as many shots as possible. Just try to get that damage done. And I know that this maybe isn't the optimal gun to do that with, on account of the reload's defensive applications, but which I'm trying to get better at using. But you know, it's still no fight saver, suffice it to say. But we're doing actually pretty well. I think that Ghost Bullets is worth probably a lot more than I thought it might be. And I thought it was going to be pretty worthwhile, but the just sheer number of times these Trident shots can hit is really impressing me. Have I not been hit yet? Huh. Wouldn't that be silly if I managed to flawless the Dragon on this one after I botched like the first 3 bosses? I mean, I guess you could chalk it up to you know, needing to get warmed up since this is the first episode of the session. But yeah, I'll try to line those up so that they're hitting the heart as many times as possible. But in general, maybe the Jolter is actually the right weapon for the job here. This is actually kind of difficult. I wonder if this wouldn't be a section that's easier on a controller just because of yeah, I don't know if that's doing more damage or not. But probably won't matter. I think whatever I use, I'll be able to finish it off. But yeah, just on account of it being a little bit easier, I think, to control your movements on the controller, you know, having sort of a more direct line to the way that you're moving. Come on, just one more? Okay. I was worried that I was gonna have to do another round of dodging just because I thought that it was gonna end right as I reloaded. So we did get that 5th chamber master round, and this run is going to bullet hell for better or for worse. I definitely think this is gonna be one of those situations where I find myself where I find myself in bullet hell and I'm gonna be just out of ammo for everything, and trying to shoot baddies with my starting pistol. I mean, on the upside, you know, with ghost bullets and bouncy bullets, now even my starting pistol pierces and bounces, and that's not bad by any stretch, but it's still not ideal to be this deep and wind up having to use your starting pistol. I guess the best case scenario would just be to get ammo drops down here. And in case you're wondering, I'm actually saving my potion of gun friendship for the inevitable moment when I do have to use my starting pistol, because the biggest, I think, hit to the DPS of it is just the fact that it, let's see if I can bank that in and get the kill, is the fact that it has a fairly long reload that happens fairly often. Like, the Jolter's reload is pretty long, but you're able to shoot the Jolter for quite a while between reloads. Where, ow, that was bad. Oh, right, I had forgotten that I had extra armor for a, whoa! That got out of hand fast from the Jolter bouncing that enemy back towards me. But, forgot that I had extra armor from Gun Knight gauntlets. So, yeah, I want to go down because the philosophy should be to get away from the entrance as much as possible. If you're looping back, you might be wrong. So, like, I think this path connects back into the entrance right there. So instead, I'm going to go up and leave that undiscovered because, as I see it, extra rooms give you little to no benefit down here. I think your best bet really is just to absolutely rush trying to find the Lich as quickly as possible and minimizing your risk that way. So yeah, here we are. Bullet hell, budget revolver. Let's do this. Gotta use the force, you know, live long and prosper, you know, get the one ring to Mordor, and every other cliche. But basically, this ain't easy, is what I'm getting at. What else is in this room? Okay, you guys. Right. Stop! He shot so many times in a row without any, like, hesitation or change in his pattern. I don't know how to handle it. Oh my god. This room is awful. I hate this a lot. Let's just try to take him down. I need an ammo drop more than I've ever needed anything else in Enter the Gungeon right now. Because I am not good enough at the game to be down here with this gun. Like, holy crap, is this just awful. Oh boy, a dead end. Just what I've always wanted. Let's just flip that. Get those out of the way. Yeah, I think I'm making pretty good use of these tables right now, actually. That was pretty solid play. But here's the part where I'm gonna get hit, probably. Yep, there it is. Yeah, this is, as I see it, just a matter of time until I eventually just get worn down and lose. Even if I make it to the Lich, the damage of this gun is so low that I think he'll just beat me down before I can do enough damage to win. You know, these shot grub guys, real pain. Come on. Just drop ammo, game. You know you want to. That is a key. That is a key for a chest that does not exist. While you do this, I think I hit both of them before they got to finish, before the, or at least, yeah, before the Skelly Man got summoned. Okay, so that one's down. There we go. That makes this room a lot easier, just in general, having those guys out of the way. This is an enemy type that I think is not so bad. You should just be able to, yep, just be brave. Don't get intimidated when enemies charge directly at you. Just shoot them with your bullets. That's all you gotta do. See, that's gonna be a pain. Can you please not be like all up in my grill? Maybe. Oh, the max range on this is killing me. I mean, what I would give to just have the Marine's weapon instead of this right now, man. Have the Hunter's weapon instead of this too. Like, just anything else. Oh, hi. I completely missed that you were there, friend. Have some bullets. That's my gift to you. Alright, gun friendship it is. You know, I just noticed how ridiculous your knockback gets with Potion of Gun Friendship on, like, every shot. Looks like that fun time is over. Yeah, I think this room just only gets worse because it spawns all of the big baddies. I mean, at least this enemy I need to hunt, so I'm getting some, like, larger benefit out of this part of the room. Okay, that's done. Roll through there. Roll through there. We'll just try to slowly shoot down each of the bits. Hey, hey! Get behind cover. And that's clear. I think Faceman is the last guy here. I hope. Yeah, okay. Up or to the right? I think to the right at this point. Just try to be calm. Don't let the bouncing bullets get to you. Okay. And we've hit a dead end. So just pop Potion of Gun Friendship, clear the room as fast as you can. I can't believe that enemy didn't die. We got at least one health back. But, I mean, this is exactly what I predicted was going to happen. We just haven't gotten any ammo drops we never got any carry kind of gun. And just in a run where the game is forcing me to be down here at the bottom of bullet hell with a starting pistol and my wits on a character whose starting pistol is not terribly good, this was bound to happen. You know, there was basically not a doubt in my mind that I was going to get whittled down. And, you know, sometimes that's just the hand the game gives you. You know, you can't expect every run to be like that second one where it's just floor 1 mega hand M16 nonsense. Get him down. Oh, this is a dead end. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end it didn't even matter. To be honest, at this point, I'm chalking it up to a miracle that I'm even still alive. Because, I mean, ugh. Picking the wrong direction here is definitely sealed my fate. Go ahead and shoot him down. What's left? Oh, you're just over there chilling out. Not interacting with the rest of the world, I see. Go ahead and try to kill you. It didn't get too bad, at least. These guys. Oh, this isn't a dead end. Okay, I was wrong. This is actually the Lich. Well, I mean, yeah, here we go. Ah, crap. Yep, here we go. I'm honestly surprised that blank worked. I barely touched my Q key. Yeah, I can't even clear the first phase with just this starting pistol. Man. Game, please. What did I do to deserve this? This requires so much more skill than I have. Whew. Still alive for now. Ah, there it is. He timed that really perfectly so that, you know, I was already starting the roll when he shot and then was ending the roll when it hit. Oh, well, you know, I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you wind up in bullet hell with not a thing. But it was a fun run. I'll see you guys next time. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more.